The Nevada desert, vast, empty, silent, except for radio waves. These waves, though unseen, are the lifeblood of communication, connecting the isolated expanses of the desert to the rest of the world. They crisscross invisible, carrying voices, music, stories. They bring news from distant lands, the laughter of loved ones, and the melodies that soothe the soul. In 1947, a new story began. A story not just of human voices, but of something far more mysterious, not in the words being broadcast, but in the static between them. It was in this static, this seemingly empty space, that something extraordinary was happening. Radio KNVU, a lonely tower in the dust, started picking up strange transmissions. These transmissions were unlike anything heard before, not garbled voices, not coded messages. These were clear, chillingly clear. They were precise, almost too precise to be real. And they spoke of events yet to come, events that had not yet unfolded but were described in vivid detail. A local baseball game, the score predicted to the inning, the exact plays, the final score, all broadcast before the game even started. The death of a Hollywood star announced days before it happened. Small things, then bigger, an earthquake in Chile, the tremors, the devastation, all described in detail before the ground even shook. A plane crash in the Rockies, the exact location, the flight number, all given with eerie accuracy. Each time KNVU's logbooks held the proof they'd received the news before it was news. Fear mixed with fascination. Was it a hoax, a cruel joke, or was there something more sinister at play? The people of the nearby town, Ridgecrest, whispered about cursed frequencies, about voices from beyond. The logbooks became a source of both dread and curiosity, each entry a testament to the strange occurrences that seemed to defy explanation. The people of Ridgecrest, a close-knit community, were torn between fear and intrigue. They gathered in small groups, discussing the latest predictions, wondering what would come next. But the truth, as it always is, was stranger still. The transmissions continued, each one more baffling than the last. And as the years went by, the mystery of KNVU's strange broadcasts only deepened, leaving more questions than answers. The army heard the whispers too. It wasn't just idle chatter, it was a call to action, a signal that something significant was unfolding. The soldiers, trained to detect even the faintest hint of danger, knew this was no ordinary mission. Project Echo, they called it, a veil of secrecy dropping over KNVU. The name itself was enigmatic, hinting at something that reverberated through time and space, something that demanded absolute discretion. Soldiers and scientists arrived, their faces grim, their purpose unknown. They moved with a sense of urgency, each step calculated, each glance filled with unspoken questions. What were they here to uncover? What secrets lay hidden beneath the surface? The logbooks vanished, replaced by government-issued notebooks. These new records were pristine, untouched by the passage of time, yet they carried the weight of countless secrets. What was so important that it required such meticulous documentation? Decades later, a few pages of those notebooks came to light, declassified, but no less disturbing. The handwritten notes, circled in red ink, hinted at something far more sinister than anyone had imagined. Technical jargon mostly, but the horror seeped through. Diagrams and notes that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Concepts that were both fascinating and terrifying. What kind of technology were they dealing with? Triangulation of the signal? Impossible. The equipment, state-of-the-art for its time, struggled to pinpoint the source. It was as if the signal was coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. It wasn't coming from somewhere. It was coming from everywhere. The realization sent chills down their spines. How could a signal be so pervasive, so elusive? More chilling were the personal notes, scribbled in the margins. These were not just technical observations. They were the thoughts and fears of those who had been there, who had witnessed something beyond comprehension, like it's echoing back, but from a future broadcast. The concept was mind-bending. Could it be that they were receiving signals from the future? What did this mean for the present, for the past? Another underlined heavily. The storm, it amplifies it. The storm. The connection between the signal and the storm was undeniable, but what kind of storm could amplify a signal in such a way? Nevada's desert storms were legendary. Lightning splitting the sky, electricity thick in the air. Was this the key? The storms, with their raw, untamed power, seemed to hold the answer. But what was the question? What were they truly dealing with? The collaboration between soldiers and scientists was unprecedented. They worked tirelessly, driven by a shared sense of urgency. Each discovery led to more questions, each answer more elusive than the last. Determination etched on their faces, they pressed on. They knew they were on the brink of something monumental, something that could change everything. But at what cost? The whispers from the Pentagon had set them on this path, and there was no turning back. The engineers brought in their equipment, oscilloscopes glowing, needles dancing. They were a dedicated team driven by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge. Each piece of equipment was meticulously calibrated, every wire carefully connected. The lab buzzed with an electric energy, a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. They studied the storms, the way the air crackled with energy. The desert, usually a place of silence and stillness, came alive with the fury of nature. Lightning split the sky and thunder rumbled across the vast expanse. The scientists were captivated by the raw power of the elements, their instruments capturing every nuance of the tempest, and they found it. During these electrical tempests, the signal from KNVU, its normal broadcast, was somehow being amplified, thrown forward in time. But how and why? The radio tower stood tall against the storm, a beacon of mystery. The scientists pored over the data, their minds racing to understand the phenomenon. The signals were not just stronger, they were different, as if they carried whispers from another time. The scientists had theories, of course, temporal distortions, strange loops in the fabric of reality caused by the unique atmospheric conditions. They debated the possibilities, their discussions filled with excitement and trepidation. Graphs and charts covered the walls, each one a piece of the puzzle they were trying to solve. The desert seemed to hold secrets, its mystical atmosphere adding to the enigma. They spoke of things beyond human understanding, their voices tight with a fear they couldn't hide. The implications of their findings were staggering. If the desert storms could bend time, what else could they do? The scientists' faces were etched with worry, their minds grappling with the enormity of their discovery. They knew they were treading on dangerous ground, exploring forces that could have far-reaching consequences. KNVU became a laboratory, its equipment modified, tested, pushed to its limits. The radio station, once a simple broadcaster, was now at the forefront of groundbreaking research. The scientists worked tirelessly, their experiments becoming more daring. They adjusted frequencies, altered circuits, and monitored the results with bated breath. Each success brought them closer to understanding the mysterious signals, but also deeper into uncharted territory. They were trying to control it, to harness the echoes of the future. The lab was filled with cutting-edge technology, a blend of the old and the new. The scientists' goal was ambitious, to capture the energy of the storms and use it to unlock the secrets of time itself. They believed that with the right approach, they could turn the desert's fury into a tool for exploration and discovery. But the more they tried to control it, the more elusive it became. But some forces are not meant to be controlled. The desert, with its timeless beauty and untamed power, reminded them of this truth. As the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the sand, the scientists realized that they were dealing with something far greater than themselves. The broken equipment scattered across the desert was a testament to their struggle, a reminder that nature's mysteries are not easily tamed. The eerie landscape stood as a silent witness to their efforts, a place where the past, present and future seemed to converge. Meanwhile, in Ridgecrest, time itself seemed to be unraveling. People spoke of missing hours, of déjà vu so strong it felt like madness. A watch stopped at the exact time of a future accident. A child drew a picture of a building, identical to one that wouldn't be built for another year. One woman, walking near the KNVU tower during a storm, claimed she'd been enveloped in a blinding light. When she emerged only minutes later, according to her watch, a week had passed in the outside world. Her story was dismissed as hysteria, but the doubt lingered. Was the future bleeding into the present, or was the present being pulled into the future? Then came the fire. Sudden, fierce, consuming the KNVU tower in a raging inferno. The official report blamed faulty wiring, but in the ashes of the building they found something else. Another page from the logbook, miraculously intact. The date, the day of the fire, the entry, a transcript chillingly familiar. It was the voice of KNVU's own announcer, his voice calm, detached, describing the fire itself. The flames engulfing the studio, the signal fading. The future hadn't just been glimpsed, it had been spoken, broadcast on the very airwaves it would one day command. And in that final horrifying transmission, Project Echo revealed its most terrifying truth. Some events are not just predictable, they are inevitable.